Okay, WWE NXT review of sorts. The show starts out with Michael Cole and Josh Matthews and Matt Striker, and they're out there testing the punch meter. And strangely enough, Michael Cole actually does better than most of the people there. But so the NXT Rookie Challenge, Power of the Punch. Alex Riley wins this, which was good because I am sick of seeing Michael McGillicuddy, Mr. Perfect Son, win everything. So Alex Riley wins, and which is good because he didn't know at the time that he was going to be fifth and last on the polls. So he gets to show what he's made of on Raw next week in a singles appearance, and he's probably one of the best in ring and on the mic. So he's got a good shot at winning it, with the assumption that Caval doesn't automatically win. So like what Lucky Cannon said when he gets eliminated, spoiler here, like when Lucky Cannon gets eliminated, he says, Caval, it is what it is. He's probably going to win the whole thing just because he is who he is, and he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder like Bryan Danielson does. So, what do we got here? We've got Alex Riley winning the challenge, and we got a rematch from Raw, 6-on-6, Showtime, Percy Watson, Lucky Cannon, and Caval against Husky Harris, Alex Riley, and Michael McGillicuddy. Caval wins, which is good because he lost on Raw, and then we have The Miz demanding that Morrison beg him to join Team WWE since the Great Khali is, for all intents and purposes, he's out. They got a big question mark over where his picture is on the lineup on the SummerSlam card on their website and everything. So he's essentially gone unless they have a surprise and he shows up, or they can do another surprise where Daniel Bryan shows up to fight the Nexus, and since he was one of them, or they could have The Miz step in. He's the most logical choice. Although I have this feeling that they're going to have him not wrestle at all, so that the second that the WWE title match is over, he can run out there and cash in. And they'll be fresh and everything, and there'll be no arguments, and that's good. I'm all for The Miz winning the WWE Championship. Absolutely for that. Because I'm just getting sick of Randy Orton with his strange face. It's not even a face turn. He's still being himself, but the fans are cheering him all of a sudden, and he's kind of becoming like a secondary John Cena and getting on my nerves. So, The Miz tells Morrison he wants him to beg to join the team. Morrison says, "We don't need you, and I'll show you why we don't need you," and goes out there, and they put on one hell of a match. Those two always put on great matches, which is why I was thinking, we would see Morrison versus Miz for the U.S. title or something like that on Raw, but we never do. And Morrison, one of the only titles that has eluded him so far is actually the U.S. title. And I easily see him picking up the U.S. title the second The Miz wins the WWE title, because I have a feeling he'll advocate the title as soon as he wins the world title. But then again, he might not. And then, what else? Lucky Cannon finally gets eliminated. And I say finally because the day Season 2 debuted of NXT and I watched, and I was like, alright, who's the first person to go? I'm like, oh, it's Lucky Cannon. That guy's horrible. He's absolutely horrible. There was nothing about the guy in the ring or on the mic or his appearance or anything about the guy that made me think, oh man, that guy's a WWE superstar. I enjoy watching him. There was absolutely nothing. And I don't even remotely understand why anybody else liked him. They kept voting him in and voting him in. And I was like, okay. And I have a feeling that people really were voting for him. I think the votes aren't really rigged at all, because I've been busting my ass voting for Husky Harris to keep him in the competition. Because I had a feeling that people were going to look at him and go, oh man, he's chubby, so gone. Which is ridiculous, because granted there aren't a lot of chubby pro wrestlers out there, but there's Samoa Joe, and if Husky Harris can deliver, then who cares what he looks like? And so I've been voting for him to keep him from falling off. And then it pays off because this time he actually goes past Alex Riley and goes to fourth. And now that we've eliminated so many people from, not really a lot, but now that we've eliminated all the people that I don't see as potential winners of the show, I think Husky Harris is going to get eliminated next, which is why I've already went and voted and he's lost my vote. My vote, I only vote once, but my vote is for Alex Riley, because I think he's going to win the whole thing. And I don't like that he dropped the fifth. and that could be a handful of people like me that were voting for Husky Harris to keep Harris from elimination, at least before Lucky Cannon got eliminated, because I didn't want Lucky Cannon coasting in the finals or anything, because that guy's horrible. I want to see a finals full of talented people. And so that's where we are. I think it's going to end up being Alex Riley winning, hopefully. Maybe they'll do some kind of a nonsense like they did with Season 1 and kick Caval off the competition, but then put him on the show anyway, because they were going to do that with Daniel Bryan. And then Showtime Percy Watson he's got potential. I could see him getting moved to the mid-card. I really can't see him as a heel, though, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. And then I can't help but think that maybe, but I don't know, it almost seems unfair that all the people that were on Season 1 of NXT, show back up as the Nexus. But then I don't think that necessarily all the people from Season 2 are going to show up and join the Nexus after the show's over, because that would be pretty cool if they showed up and they're like, we're either Nexus or we're against you, and we're Nexus. Because the Nexus might be like, sweet, we know exactly what you guys are going through. Welcome to the team. Or they could be like, nah, we don't need you, and just kick them off. So, which would be the exact treatment that they're supposedly getting from the WWE Raw roster, so whatever, we'll see how that plays out. But there's a handful of guys on Season 2 that I actually feel like are going to end up in the WWE, and I want them to be, like McGillicuddy, although I don't want him to win. Showtime Percy Watson has a lot of potential. I think Alex Riley should, in all rights, win the thing, because the deck's stacked against him. You've got two third-generation wrestlers out there, and then you've got, Caval, low-key. So, I mean, it's stacked against him. He easily could lose the competition, third or fourth place or something, or eliminated next week, who knows. But he should at least get a call back and be brought up to the main roster. So, I'm going to stop talking for now, because, there's not a lot to talk about as far as NXT goes. So, that is my wrap-up for NXT for the week. And, I'm not going to review Superstars, because that show's just, it's boring. Nothing good ever happens there. There's never title matches. They don't even talk about the matches that happen, barely. And granted, the matches are pretty good in ring, but I'm pretty focused on storylines. Like, that's my thing. I actually like seeing the storylines progress, and it's not like I can just watch and go, oh, look, that was a good in-ring action. Awesome. There's got to be a storyline to make me give a crap as to why they're wrestling, so. Which is probably the difference between being a lot of Ring of Honor fans or indie fans. So, that is the end of my NXT review. I will not be reviewing Superstars. To be perfectly honest with you, I probably won't review Impact, because I haven't watched Impact in like 4 months. And every time that I tune into it, it just looks retarded. And then I saw there was going to be a Hardcore Justice. I'm like, okay, the concept there is good too. They're going to do an ECW reunion. And, sort of, without the rights to using ECW, or there's lots of little things they did wrong from what I've read. But just even TNA related, anything TNA related, I've looked, and it seems like they've just dropped the ball. The second they started bringing in Hogan and all his people, it all started just going really downhill. I don't even like the way that they were using Mr. Anderson. I feel like Mr. Anderson's one of the talents that's perfectly suited for WWE and only WWE. Granted, he's like I'm saying, he's a good wrestler and he's good on the mic, but he just doesn't fit. He doesn't fit at all into the TNA image in my mind. In the same sense that Christian never really fit in WWE, but when he got to TNA, Christian was a perfect fit for TNA. I think they should just, I don't know, I wish they could just have a real life trade, like a draft, and just trade talent. That'd be fantastic. But that's not going to happen. So